On, man, it's Deion Dawkins, and you listening to the Real Deal Sports Show on the Beat 105.5.
Yes, you are, and welcome every Saturday morning. This is the Real Deal Sports Show with the Radman coming to you live from the Rock Palm Brokers Studios, live every week. We give it to you straight, no chaser, every Saturday morning. Welcome back to Real Deal Sports Show, and we're here to talk sports of all sorts for the next hour and keep you abreast of what's going on in the world of sports. And let's get started right away with the Buffalo Bills. And with the Buffalo Bills, we have some good news, very good news there with James Cook. The Bills front office went ahead and signed James Cook this week, which to no surprise, I don't know what this thing is called a sit-in, but hey, it's working. It's working in this case. For the Bills, it's working out. James Cook sat in. He came. He did the walkthroughs, but he didn't do the physical practices at St. John Fisher toward the end of the camp at St. John Fisher, and then continued over there in Buffalo. Then he refused to say he wasn't going to play in the preseason game. Had some conversations with the Bills people, and obviously the Bills didn't do like Jerry Jones did. They not only talked to the player, but they went and talked to his agent like you're supposed to. You're supposed to talk to the agent that represents the player. And you can also talk to the player, but you can just say you can't hammer out a deal with the player. You got to go to his agent. Obviously, he mentioned what kind of money he was looking for. Obviously, the $15 million a year was what he put out there, was a pipe dream. You got to throw a number out there. And he said he won $15 million. But the Bills came and they kind of looked like they met each other halfway. $12 million a year for 4 years for $48 million, $30 million guaranteed. And the key is after 2 years, really after next year, the Bills can wiggle out of that contract situation. It's not a serious cap hit. It is a cap hit. It would be, but $30 million guaranteed. Congratulations to James Cook. I think James Cook and the Buffalo Bills both came out with a very nice deal. That deal worked out very nice for both sides, and I think with Cook in the fold, he's ready to go. He's ready to play football. But I don't know that this sit-in is something else. Trey Hendrickson is sitting in with the Cincinnati Bengals. That doesn't seem to be working out. We know the cheap Bengals. The Bengals are known for not paying their players from way back, from the Paul Brown era in Cleveland. Before they ran Paul Brown out of Cleveland, he went up to Cincinnati, and they got started with the Cincinnati Bengals. So we know all about their cheapness, how they don't like to pay their players. But now they paid their offensive players and look like they made a strong stance to only pay a certain amount of money for their defensive players over there in Cincinnati. But in Buffalo, the core players, Khalil Shakir, Greg Rousseau, Terrell Bernard. So the Bills have a core of players now signed for the next 4 years, 4-year contracts. If these guys, so that gives you a good foundation that these guys will be here for at least 2 years, 2 of the 4 years, maybe all 4, and play out the life of the contract. That possibly could happen, but we know how injuries are and how injuries can upend a roster. So we'll see what's going to transpire with that. But we congratulate James Cook on being very professional and getting things done. Top of the top is with us. He's been waiting for the Real Deal Sports Show all week. All right, top of the top. We're glad that top of the juice bar. Welcome back to Real Deal Sports Show. Appreciate having you on each week, checking out the show. So the whole thing works out. It worked out for the Bills. It worked out for James Cook. Now let's get back to practice. We're here in Chicago. I'm in Chicago in the Windy City, getting ready for the Bills and Bears tomorrow night at Soldier Field, the second preseason game. It's a nationally televised preseason game. The Bills seem to be I can't even ever remember the Bills being on national TV in the preseason. I think it was a game in Toronto or a game overseas in Germany or London. They were playing in the preseason, and it was televised on a national level. It's on the Fox network tomorrow night. The Bills versus the Chicago Bears. And yesterday they had a practice. They had a joint practice together here in Chicago. Well, about almost a good 45 minutes away from Chicago at Lake Forest at Hallis Hall. I was unable to make it out there because it was so doggone far out there. It was either take the hour and a half ride, get out there to Hallis Hall, or take the subway train from my hotel down to Wrigley Field to see the Chicago Cubs play the historic over 109-year-old Wrigley Field and see a Major League Baseball game. And y'all know what the Radman chose. I chose the baseball game. Hell of a game yesterday at Wrigley Field. I'll get into that. Pirates defeating the Chicago Cubs 3-2 with one of my all-time favorite players that I always liked from back in the day, Andrew McCutchen. Had a big hit in that game, drove in a run early in the contest. Good to see Andrew McCutchen still playing. The man's been around a long time. He's been doing a great job for Major League Baseball and also and back in Pittsburgh where he first started out at. The Pirates broke a 5-game losing streak, winning that contest 3-2 yesterday. And I'll give you a quick insight into that contest before I'll go back into the Buffalo Bills in one moment. But the Kyle Falefa had the RBI double to tie the game up, and then Suzuki, the Chicago-born player, Suzuki had the game-winning home run in the 9th inning, hit it into the bleachers out there in the bleachers. It was 90 degrees and hot out there at Wrigley Field. Good ballpark. If you're ever in Chicago, put it on your agenda to make it out to Wrigley Field and see the Chicago Cubs playing whoever they're playing against. But Jack Suzuki, the Chicago native playing for the Pittsburgh Pirates in the top of the 9th, hit the game-winning home run to put the Pirates up 3-2. And the Cubs they just choking. They just not hitting. They're not hitting. They're not at the plate doing what they're supposed to do. They had a chance to win the game, bases loaded. All they could score was 1 run with the bases loaded and no outs. It looked like they're gripping. The Cubs look like they're in free fall. Milwaukee then won 11, 12 games in a row, then took over first place, then moved the Cubs out. And all the Cubs fans around here in Chicago saying, hey, we thought this was our year to win the division. We thought we were going to be the division champions. That's not materializing at the moment. It's definitely not materializing. They're falling farther and farther behind. So it's a rough season here in Chicago for the Cubs. Some of the fans, as they were leaving after the game was over yesterday, and just seeing the 3-2, how they gave the game away to a team that's had a 5-game losing streak. And Jack Suzuki, that was only his 3rd home run of the season. His 3rd home run of the season beat him. And they were drinking their beer and saying, hey, at least the Bears are ready to play. We're going to see what the Bears are going to do. At least football is right around the corner. So it sounds like some of the Cub fans are shutting it down on baseball and looking to a brighter days with the Chicago Bears. So it's going to be interesting here in Chi-Town, see what's happening. And I'll learn more. I'll tell you more about it tomorrow night after we see the Bills and the Bears play. But, yeah, a lot of disheartened fans here in town about the Chicago Cubs. And this next segment of the show is brought to you by Challenger Community News. Also, before that, hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, Internet Passport, for the update. Share the stream, the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Remember that, subscribe to the channel. And Morris Thompson, out there on the Beltway. Good morning to you as well. Welcome. I appreciate you listening to the Real Deal Sports Show. My birthday was great last week. You asked about my birthday. Had a great time. Excellent birthday party. Had a good time at Pine Grill Reunion. Listening to some what the Radman likes to do. Listen to some good jazz music. It was a good time last weekend for sure. Definitely a very good time listening last weekend. Thank you so much for asking. Morris Thompson. But now, before I move into the next segment, just want to let you know it's brought to you by Challenger Community News, Western New York's largest weekly African-American newspaper. Check out some of the fine articles in the Challenger, including my article on the Buffalo Bills. Check out what I have to say about the Bills offense, offensive players, and find out about what's going on there. And if sports, and then also Black History, Marcus Garvey, Mosiah Garvey, why we honor Marcus Garvey. Very nice article in the Challenger on why we honor Marcus Garvey. Also, other aspects, the health section, health matters, family matters, the whole 9 yards. Check out all the fine articles and celebrating Black Business Month. Also, check out all the Black businesses that are advertising in Challenger Community News. Pick it up at most businesses in the community, or you can go right to Buff Challenge buffchow.com. Buff Challenge, BUFFCHALL news, NEWS.com. Check out the website and check out Challenger Community News. Yes, indeed. Western New York's largest weekly African American newspaper. Check out Challenger Community News and most businesses in the community. And now on to the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are in town here in Chicago for a big contest coming up, big preseason contest for the people trying to make the team, because we know who some of the guys are. The Bills are playing through injuries. Yesterday, it looked like the Bills wanted to work on their offense. They wanted to work on their 2-minute drill, where the Bills were passing the ball. Josh Allen was throwing it, some nice throws. Keon Coleman had a nice catch in the practice. He made a nice play. So James Cook was running hard. Frank Gore. The Bills' offensive line looks really strong. They definitely looked like they were focusing yesterday's practice on the 2-minute drill, getting the ball, and Josh Allen getting rid of the ball quickly. That's what it looked like. Josh did throw 3 interceptions in the practice, but when you see a practice like this, you don't know what the intention of the coaching staff are in these practices. But it looked pretty evident from what I'm reading and hearing that they were looking to work the 2-minute drill, and they were doing different things against a Chicago defense again. And that's what you do when you practice against a different team, and not when you're not practicing against yourself. You can try different things out more readily, and they were trying different things, and it looked like it was successful. And on the Chicago side, for example, they wanted to see about their offensive line. They were throwing the ball a lot to Caleb Williams. They wanted to see what he could do in different situations. And from all reports, the Bears' offensive line has some work to do. They definitely got to work a little, get their line together, and make sure their line can protect Caleb Williams. People are saying that, oh man, he's released. Maybe he's releasing the ball a little early or releasing the ball a little late because the pressure's on him. If the line is not giving him the protection and he's not totally confident in the offensive line as of yet, maybe that's why you're seeing him release the ball early and get rid of it and trying to get that ball out as quickly as he can, or get rid of the ball or check down. They say he might be slow in checking down, but you could say a quarterback may be slow in checking down or the whole 9 yards. He doesn't look comfortable. If his offensive line isn't right and they're still working on that offensive line, it looks like it's a work in progress. Then you got to take a look at it and say, hey, let's see. You got to give Caleb Williams a couple of years. He's in a new system. He's learning Ben Johnson's system. The offensive coordinator, formerly with the Detroit Lions, is now the head coach of the Chicago Bears. You got to see what he can do in that situation, in that format. So I suggest giving the young man a break, giving him an opportunity to prove himself. But you know how we football fans are. Same thing. I was rough on Josh Allen at the beginning. I thought Josh Allen wasn't going to pan out, but I got to give the young man credit. He worked very hard in the offseason with his coach, quarterback coach, and coaches during the offseason. He really worked on his shortcomings that he had of throwing in the coverage or running backwards and just some of the things that he did in his first 2 to 3 years with the Bills. And think about it. I'm saying 2 to 3 years. But from year 3 on, Josh Allen each year has been progressing forward. So you just can't judge a book by its cover the first year, even the second year. You got to give those quarterbacks a break. And I think Caleb Williams maybe needs that right now. And you never know how it could turn out, because I personally didn't think Josh Allen would be at the level that he's at now from where he started and the mistakes that he was making. But he learned from the mistakes. He took the coaching, and he worked hard. That's one thing you got to give it to Josh Allen. He works very hard in the offseason. He wants to win. He has a drive about himself that he wants to be a winning quarterback in the National Football League. He wants to be a successful quarterback in this league, and he has been, and he's now the reigning MVP of the National Football League because of it. So now he's progressing with a new group of receivers. Who are these receivers going to be? How is it going to pan out? That's what you're going to be watching tomorrow night. Some of the guys that I mentioned last week here on the show, Terrell Shavers. Terrell Shavers is still my diamond in the rough from last year. He had that big 59-yard catch last week, had 2 receptions for 70 yards in total. He's playing quite well, and should be a guy that should make the team. I thought he should have played last year. I thought he should have replaced Amari Cooper once Amari Cooper started slowing down and getting the injuries. And you could see Amari Cooper was not himself towards the end of last season. That's where you got to make a move. And I thought Terrell Shavers, they called him up, but they didn't play him. They kept him inactive on some games. And then when he was active, they didn't throw the ball his way. They didn't get him out there on pass. They didn't focus on him and give him an opportunity to make some plays going along with Khalil Secure. Because you got to remember, Terrell Shavers came, but he was at the University of Alabama, then went to the University of Mississippi. But when he was if Alabama picks you up and you get a chance to play a little bit at Alabama at wide receiver, that tells you something that this guy has some talent. And because Alabama just don't put anybody out on the football field at the wide receiver position. And this young man, 6'5", he can make plays. He can make things happen on the football field. He's definitely a player that can make things happen and get the job done for the Buffalo Bills. And I also, I'm looking at Christian Wilkinson is starting to shine. He's starting to show some signs. That's number 82, Christian Wilkinson. Also, number 89, Stephen Gosnell. Stephen Gosnell. They call him Little Steve because he's wearing Steve Tasker's jersey, number 89, and he's fast. The young man is quick. He's a little small guy, but he's out there making plays. Stephen Gosnell, he's going to be a tough cut. Probably maybe try to bring him back on the practice squad, most likely. Christian Wilkinson, formerly of the Raiders, made a dazzling one-handed catch against the New York Giants in the Bills' first preseason game last week. Made a beautiful catch, a beautiful one-handed catch along the sideline. So Christian Wilkinson is putting his name out there that, hey, man, keep an eye on me. I think he might want to be a guy that you want to keep an eye out and make sure to see that he might be a guy that could make this roster. And I think some of these other guys you got to take a look at tomorrow. So I think you're going to see more Bills working on the red zone, working on the passing game when you watch the Bills versus Bears tomorrow night. I think these guys, who's going to stack up, whose stock is going up, I think those two guys are stock up. Terrell Shavers, Christian Wilkinson, Joshua Palmer, the guy they picked up. He made some nice catches in the practice yesterday, the Bills versus Bears practice. He has strong hands. So he's a guy that can be very dependable this coming season for Josh Allen. He could be a safety valve. He has very good hands, and he's strong because he took the ball away from a guy on a pass in the back of the end zone yesterday in practice against the Bears. Joshua Palmer looked like he could fit in well with this Bills offense. I think Joshua Palmer, he's a no-brainer. They brought him in. They brought him in from the Chargers. Got him as a free agent from the Chargers. I think he's going to see a lot of time. Keon Coleman had a big catch in the practice. So he's starting to step his game up as well. Keon Coleman letting you know that, hey, don't leave him behind. He wants to get something going. He's going to go ahead and do his thing and make some plays and continue to do what he has to do to make this Bills team and continue to be a contributor to the Buffalo Bills football team. That's the key components that I'm seeing on the offensive side of the ball. I'm also seeing in the running game, besides James Cook was running well yesterday. He found a couple holes to get into and get up and run, make some nice runs yesterday. Frank Gore Jr. Once again is impressive. And, of course, Ray Davis and Ty Johnson. The running back unit is solid. That's a solid unit that the Buffalo Bills have. So keep an eye on that unit, continuing to be very good and very aggressive on the Bills' offensive side of the ball. Also on the tight ends, Kaliki Latu caught Trubisky threw a ball high. Kaliki Latu was double teamed, but Trubisky threw a ball high enough that the 6'7" guy could go up, and he took the ball, made a beautiful catch. It was almost uncontested because he threw it up high enough that only Latu could get to the ball, and he made a very nice catch. I've been talking about him since the first day of training camp at St. John Fisher College, where I saw him there, and I saw the type of plays and routes he was running. I think Kaliki Latu is going to make this football team, and he's going to be a very good tight end for the Buffalo Bills as well, helping out Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. I think you got some bigger guys coming in to help. Zach Davidson. The key is how they're going to use these guys. How are these guys? But I think Kaliki Latu has a leg up as one of the newcomers So keep an eye out on him. I'm sure he'll get some passes again tonight. They even use him in a bubble screen several times during training camp. So I think Latu has an excellent opportunity. I think his stock is up high, very high, making the Buffalo Bills football team on the offensive side of the ball. And they're also using him on the special teams, on the field goal team, block field goal teams as well. So it's looking good on the offensive side of the ball with the team right now. But what we're gonna do now, BacSpin, we're gonna go to the interview, and we got a special interview that we have, and we're gonna go to the interview with Darrell Green, Hall of Famer Darrell Green from the Washington Commanders. He was a shutdown cornerback in the National Football League, and I had a chance to speak to him. And let's hear what Darrell Green had to say about his career in the National Football League. Darrell Green, George Randy, Johnson being used. He's covered Buffalo Bills, covered for over 25 years. What was it that motivated you to play so long for 20 years and play at a high level? What was it that kept you focused for all that time?
So first, football was a kid's game for me. I started in 11th grade on the JV. It was a children's game. Went to college, I tried out. Just want to try. I'm going to try.
Right.
Next thing I know, they drafted me. I didn't plan to be in the NFL. They drafted me. I was a little kid from a Division II school in AIA before that. They drafted me. I realized that this is a good job. Man, they pay me. I can play. But remember, as I was saying before, my goal in life was to be. I wanted to be a husband and a dad and a man beyond what I've experienced. Character, integrity, marriage. And so if I do this, I can take care of my family.
Right.
So I just did it. I just went to work every day, came home, trained every day, came home. Because I remember I'm always going to be what I want to be, and that's at home.
Right.
But what I did, I just did it to the best of my ability and took my butt home and just kept doing it and kept doing it because I wasn't pursuing fame and riches. So I didn't do the free agency stuff.
Right.
Hey, can I keep playing here? Oh, thank y'all. I'll stay here.
Right.
Because I still want to keep being what I want to be, and y'all can keep helping me do what I need to do so I can be what I want to be. So my motivation was just to be a godly man and then to take all this influence and the access and the resources that they give you. Mm-hmm. And then I do it at home, but then I could do it with other people. It was a simple plan for me. It ain't sexy. It ain't cute. I ain't got that story, but it was a simple life.
What was it about you on defense? You really could read the defenses. It seemed like you always would be able, by the fourth quarter, to know where that ball was coming and find your spot, find yourself in the right spot.
I think the key was the preparation to be able to stick with my man from a physical standpoint, my speed, my quickness, and the ability to keep warring for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
That's what I had. I was grateful for that.
Who's the toughest player you went up against?
Oh, my gosh, man.
If you could name one.
It's a bunch of them because I played most of the best guys.
Sure.
Jerry Rice is one of the greatest receivers. Roy Green, Mike Quick, Tony Hill, Drew. Oh, my gosh. Mike Quick, Michael Irvin.
Yeah.
You name it. You pick one.
That was the defense.
You pick one.
Hey, thank you so much, sir, for your time. And there you have it. That was a nice breakdown from Darrell Green, talking about his career in the National Football League and some of those great receivers that he went up against. And he looks good too. The guy looks like he definitely keeps himself in shape and keeps himself together for sure. Darrell Green, appreciate him taking time out to get a chance to have him on the Real Deal Sports Show. Always a pleasure to have him on the show. I have a athlete of his ilk on Real Deal Sports Show. And the next segment is brought to you by the Advantage Federal Credit Union, AdvantageFCU.org, auto loans, Visa cards, student checking accounts, and much, much more. Check out the Advantage Federal Credit Union. They're definitely right now, check them out, 4.99% and up on car loans. Get an opportunity to check them out and see exactly what they have going on at the Advantage Federal Credit Union. Is definitely where you want to be and see what you have going on with Advantage Federal Credit Union. And we also going to take a look around the league in the preseason. There's a lot of good preseason football games going on currently. It's a lot of good teams looking to sign their players and get things going. Dallas Cowboys, once again, Micah Parsons still out there, still not signed. Don't see why they haven't signed him. He should have been signed. They should have took care of his contract. And look like it's going to be one of those things that they may sign. Look like they're probably. I think they're going to sign him the week of the game of the first regular season game. I don't get. It seems like Jerry seems to want to have the theatrics and be in the news and continue to keep his team relevant by having controversy instead of having continuity earlier on. And that sends a bad signal to the rest of your players. Just like I was saying earlier about James Cook. The Bills took care of James Cook before the season. It took a little while, but the other players are in the locker room saying, hey, man, okay, well, if I play well and I get a chance to be up for contract renewal and maybe I have a good chance to get a contract with this team because they looking like they want to sign the younger players and keep a foundation going of young talent. But in Dallas, it's like, man, what are you doing? I mean, you're bringing in guys. You even talk about the backup quarterback and saying Joe Walter. They wanted to see Joe a little more of him, and he is. He has a strong arm throwing the football. You're paying Dak an awful lot of money, and that's where you mess up at. Everybody in today's NFL can't get paid at that level, unfortunately. And the Cowboys have about 3 players tied up with major dollars with them. CD Lamb, and you got the quarterback. So it's a lot of people a few people being paid and not spread out properly. And then, but one of your best players, Micah Parsons on defense, one of the best Russian edge rushers in the National Football League, he hasn't been paid his new contract. And so it just makes you scratch your head what Jerry Jones is trying to do with his football team. It doesn't make sense why he continues not to want to progress with his football team and get his guys with team and they all camaraderie. Because I believe you me, everybody in the locker room is seeing the same thing. Like, what's going on? I happened to see at the end of a game last night with Seattle at home was playing. The Seattle Seahawks were playing Kansas City at Seattle, and DeMarcus Lawrence, a former Cowboy, 11 years. I didn't realize he was with the Cowboys. He's been in the league 11 years. I was surprised that DeMarcus Lawrence, he's now a member of the Seattle Seahawks, another fine edge rusher. So I don't know what it is with Jerry on the defense side of the ball. Maybe DeMarcus Lawrence with the injuries. He's getting up in age. He's been around 11 years. He didn't want to continue to keep paying him what he's been paying him, Jerry. So he's gone to Seattle. And he looked like he got when they interviewed him on the sideline last night. DeMarcus Lawrence looked like he even made a couple comments about the Cowboys, about leaving there and with his new team and have a brand new future out on the West Coast, out in Seattle, Washington, with the Seattle Seahawks. And boy, they were roughing up the Kansas City Chiefs last night. It was a very physical football game. Pete Carroll, his teams always play physical. Not Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll is no longer the coach here, but the former Ravens, Ray McDonald is the head coach out there now. And coming from Baltimore, you're starting to see that Ravens type of defense out there in Seattle. They playing more physical, and they were very physical last night as they blew out the Kansas City Chiefs in that preseason game. A lot of hitting, a lot of hard hitting there in that contest, and they bringing in some veteran guys to help with the younger guys there in Seattle. So keep an eye out on this on the Seattle Seahawks. Also, right here, Rochester, New York. Last week, Coach Moody, who's a regular on the show, Coach Moody talked about the young man Nathan Carter that played and grew up here in Rochester, New York. From Rochester, played at Bishop Kearney High School. He had a 43-yard touchdown reception last night. The guy, he broke away from his defender and was gone. He showed excellent speed in there. And Coach Moody said, "That's my guy, Nate Carter, showing up in the NFL." Coach Moody said he should have gotten drafted, but he played for him 3 seasons at Bishop Kearney, and he had a beautiful 43-yard TD run He looked almost, even the commentators say he looked almost like an Olympic sprinter on the way he pulled after he ran through the hole and got away from the defender. Beautiful run. Nathan Carter, keep an eye out on him from Rochester, y'all. You got to give Rochester credit. So check him out. Nathan Carter, congratulations. Look like he should make that Atlanta Falcons team. And we look forward to Atlanta. The Bills play in Atlanta this season. So hopefully we'll get to see Nathan Carter and get to see some of the hard work has paid off. Because remember, he was a captain. He was one of the captains of the Michigan State football team. And in college, they don't make you a captain for nothing. When you're a captain of one of the captains on your team, that means that shows leadership, that shows determination, that shows discipline. There's a lot that goes into it. So this young man, it seems to me, it's no accident that this man is having success already at the pro level here in the National Football League. Congratulations to Nathaniel Carter on that 43-yard touchdown run. And remember, check him, keep an eye out on him, and we will keep an eye out on him here on Real Deal Sports Show. And before we move into our next segment, before we move on to Houston, Texas, the next segment is brought to you by the award-winning Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency, Auto, Home, Health, and Life Insurance, 1038 Lyle Avenue or 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Give her a call, 585-360-0094. Get your insurance in order. Auto, home. Hey, they gone up, man. My homeowners went up. But Miriam, woo! I said, wait a minute. This got to be a misprint. I had to call the people. No, hey, I called Miriam. I said, Miriam, can you help? And she did. She saved the day on my homeowner's insurance because my blood pressure went up kind of high when dealing with the previous company I was dealing with. But thank you. Check out Miriam Rivera. If you, like me, open up a letter or get an email or something, you see that the bill that went up to a ridiculous amount of money, give our friend Miriam Rivera, Farmers Insurance Agency. But she also deals with Progressive and several other insurance companies as well. She's really an insurance broker. Give her an opportunity to save the day and get your blood pressure down so you can go ahead and deal with other issues that I'm sure you have to deal with in your daily life. And speaking of dealing with issues, we're going to go to Houston, Texas now, and another regular who covers the Houston, Texas, AD. Hey, AD, welcome back to Real Deal Sports Show. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Rochester. Hey, man, everything's going great, man. Wait a minute, George, it's just early in the morning. I know this is one time. I think we on both on Central Standard Time for a short period of time. But now everything's going great, man. Texas take on the Carolina Panthers today at 12 noon Central Time. Their second the triumphant preseason game. So, but to me, Thursday's practice against the Carolina Panthers, the joint practice, to me, in my humble opinion, probably reveal more about the progress of the Texans. Coach, we'll see tonight that they can. I mean, this afternoon rather at this evening's contest, because as D'Amico Ryan say, we don't have to be worried about don't take everybody down to the ground and all like that. It'll be a full-blown game and everything. But I thought Thursday's joint practice with the Carolina Panthers was probably, and from a coach's standpoint, probably gave a lot more grist to the mill than just say what this game today will be. So that's just a quick nutshell about as far as that particular contest. Texans just came back from Water Springs, Virginia, West Virginia. They spent a week up there practicing, and I think that moving forward, depending on what, and I'm pretty sure D'Amico is going to be here for a while, continuing with the progress he's making. I like the idea of the fact that they're getting out of Houston, getting out this heat this time of the year, and just getting away into an environment where they strictly in the woods. All they got is football, and and it's something that I'm pretty sure you've experienced. In your years of covering the NFL, a lot of the pro teams just get away. They take it to some small area, practice. So. I thought that they got a lot of good work in that week. I think the fact more than anything, they didn't have to worry about the heat. And that's down here, man. The heat down here is like the cold up there. It has an adverse effect on you. So that in itself has been a plus, man. That's
After,
just
AD, you're right. The team gets away from that heat and gets into a different atmosphere where they can bond. In Buffalo, they come up to Rochester, to St. John Fisher University. They came up for 10 days, 10 or 12 days. Here, they kind of bonded. They're in a dorm room. They living in the dorm rooms for that period of time. Back in the day, it used to be 24 days. They used to be in Rochester for 24 days at St. John Fisher University, living in the dorms and really living. But now now these teams are building such great facilities on their home campus, by their stadiums in their home cities, that they have an opportunity to work out there. But what was your take? The Bills had a practice with the Bears yesterday. What was your take on the joint practices that you see? And now that you see less preseason games, you see more and more joint practices. What was your take on the joint practice with the Carolina Panthers?
I mean, from a coach's perspective, I think it's a lot of positive, and here's the reason why. After the Texans, when preseason camp started, after their third day, we had some dust ups, and my first question to DeMeco Ryans, because of the fact I said, Coach, look like your players are tired of hitting each other. They need to go hit somebody else. And he acknowledged, he said, third day, in our third day of pads, the fact that we know each other, guys, they know the nuances of each other. And so here's an opportunity to go up against a team that or go up against an opponent that you don't see every day. And so to me, this is more of a game conditioning type of situation. I had it's a clip out there on my YouTube shorts about DeMeco Ryans talking about the lights. When the lights come on, some players shrink, some guys just explode, man. And so to me, this is a time when you get to see how can a guy in a practice situation, then you throw him in a game situation, how do they respond? But to answer be more specific about your question as far as that time to go up against another opponent, I think it's a plus. And the fact that because you only have 3 preseason games, and I seriously, George, I think we're getting ready. What the NFL's got, we've got 17 games now.
Yeah. It needs to go back to 16 with all the injuries. That's a different story.
That's a story. Hey, George, that genie's at the bottle. If anything, it's going to probably be more regular season games, and I think they'll keep. It's probably going to add another. I think they're going to add another regular season game. I think 17. I think they're going to round it off to 18, maybe. And I've heard rumors. I mean, depending on who you want to listen to. I heard they really like to get 20 regular season games. I don't know if these players' bodies can take that type of pounding. You see the
Bills already have 15 guys on the injury list sitting on the side, riding the bicycles and jumping rope and doing whatever they got them on. I mean, that's 15 guys, man. That's a lot of guys. Almost 15 to 20 guys already injured in training camp.
Yeah, and the thing about it, these guys, this is a year-round commitment now with putting your bodies through this situation. Normally, if you didn't make the playoffs, then your season ended in January. DeMeco Ryans basically said that normally, but right after the Super Bowl, you need to start, getting your workout process again and getting your body conditioned to go back to playing again. But George, I mean, and think about of those 15 guys, how many of them are like ligament injuries and muscle injuries and so forth? But I would think
over 90% of them are soft tissue.
Yeah, the soft tissue issues and the fact that they're like rubber bands that you just keep stretching and stretching and stretching, and eventually they pop. And then I think that's what you're seeing in a lot of cases right now, man. Because the NFL is the goose that laid the golden egg, and it keeps laying money and money. The NFL prints their own money, man. And until something comes up, we'll see how this thing is going to go, man.
And they don't have good representation. They don't have a union that's very respectable. I mean, you got the Raiders right now. As soon as the union fired their leader, the next week, the Raiders said, we're not going to pay Christian Wilkinson, defensive tackle, his guaranteed $35 million that they still owe him of guaranteed money for the Raiders. And they cut him and said they're not going to pay him.
Yeah, I mean,
how you don't pay on guaranteed money, AD? That don't.
Well, it's called the next process. You go to the courts. I mean, in that situation, he's got to go and go to the courts. I mean, here's the situation, George. Major League Baseball, all guaranteed contracts.
Yes.
NBA, all guaranteed contracts. Now, obviously, not the football, because you got 53 guys and then a practice squad, you're not going to guarantee all those contracts. I mean, I mean, from a management standpoint, from a business standpoint, you're not going to guarantee all those contracts. But I think these guys, and I think this is the situation where the NFL bosses has the advantage over the players, regardless of who might be ahead of the labor union. And we got to admit now, when you look at this last story about how the NFLPA, you know, who actually who's running it? Who's running it right now? Because you look at the situation, who should have been running it, but there seems to be some collusions of interest. And I mean, are you looking to take care of the players? Or are you looking to help teams out trying? So from my perspective, I think they need to go find somebody that really have a true interest in the players and go with those guys, man.
Yeah, you gotta have, and I think you really need. I really think they need to go back to the model of getting an ex-player that played and really cares about the game and cares about they done been through it. I thought Gene Upshaw was just in there way too long. To me, that was the problem with Gene Upshaw. He was good at the beginning, but then basically you're getting bought off by the owners down the road. You can't be getting bought off by the people you're trying to negotiate against. And then this last guy, the Howell, him and the people he associated with trying to buy a team. How you trying to buy an NFL team, but you supposed to be negotiating and for the player? You're supposed to be about the players. That's not no. You don't see that in the unions at the car plants, the UAW. You don't see them trying to buy into Ford or
General Motors or Satellite or any other your major manufacturer. Yeah, to me, that was a blaring conflict of interest. And so, right now, man. But the thing about it, what is it? And here's the situation, George. And you know this, and you heard the statistics before. The average NFL player's career is what, 3.5 years? Period.
Correct.
So
Correct.
You know what? Guys getting in there trying to get their money and get away. You're an exception to the rule if you play past 10 years. If you get 10 years in this league under the circumstances, those guys, I mean, those are an exception to the rules. I mean, yeah, we hear about the Brady's, got the statues in New England and all like that, and they put statues out. But those guys are the exception to the rule, man. I mean, for the most part, guys come in like the NFL careers are like Haley's Comet. Come one, you once in a lifetime, and you got the guys trying to get in and get their money, especially when they're trying to as like Keyshawn Johnson said, hey, I was trying to get my mom a house, and I was trying to get my own bedroom. When you go back and listen to guys like that, guys here's a once in a lifetime opportunity for me to pull my family out of poverty, if that is the case of what they have to deal with.
Absolutely, and that's what. And think about it. If you play for just 3 years and you make the minimum, you can start you a business. That's some nice seed money to help start you a business and be able to make a difference in your life and in your family's life. So
absolutely,
you can understand the guys at the bottom tier wanting to say, "Hey, man, just pay us that. Yeah, we'll take it." But you got to, as a union, they got to get more cohesive for all the players, the guys at the top end, with the guys at the bottom, and try to come to a median where everybody's benefiting and getting paid more and not being cheap. How you gonna take away guaranteed money? Isn't that what guaranteed means? Guaranteed means you get it, man.
I always thought that's what guaranteed. But here's George. Here's the thing about it. When we hear these players sign these big contracts, and I hear fans are talking about, oh, he got a $90 million contract, and I sort of quick to turn around and tell him, nope. He does not have a $90 million contract. What was his signing bonus? you know, right now, in the way the NFL is, the size of your signing bonus, that's your guarantee. I mean,
Right.
That's really your guarantee. You get your signing bonus, and you better make darn good use of your signing bonus from an investment standpoint and everything else. And if you're fortunate enough to get some decent endorsements, like some players I know, they still haven't cashed the checks off their signing bonus, but they living off the endorsement. But it takes prudent, shrewd, with a fiscal mindset. When you come into this situation, you're only going to be here for a short period of time. You got to, put people around you that you can trust. And in the words of, say, Oprah Winfrey, you sign your own checks. You don't let nobody else control your financial outcome. So
absolutely,
that being the case, so that's where we are, George.
And just to wrap up, as I see, time starting to go away. Whenever we get on the show, we always get it in here. The offensive line, I was shocked again. Your head coach, D'Amico Ryan, cleared house again with the offensive line. He got rid of Larry Tunsil and some other guy. What's going on with the line, and how about the mindset of the quarterback coming this season? What's going on with that? Is he has confidence in this new line that they done brought in?
Well, George, let me put it like this. Not only do you have a new offensive line, when you're putting a whole new line together, you got a new OC this is his first time calling plays. So CJ Stroud is going in his third year, and you got Nick Haley, who is coming in for, now he's had stops in New England, he's had stops at the Rams. So everything is a work in progress right now. Everybody seems to be buying in. Titus Howard, who right now is the lone person left off that offensive line of a couple of years ago. A couple of days in practice, he's been out at tackle, but more than likely you're gonna see Titus Howard in at guard. Ariante Irsay, the draft pick out of Minnesota, he's gonna be at one tackle. You got right now there's a battle at the center position. There's a battle at the left guard position. There's a battle at the right tackle position. It's in flux, George. I got a little notebook every day in practice. I just sort of jot numbers down and looking at as the offensive line goes in and out, and each day in practice, man, I've probably got about 4 to 5 different combinations of players being interchanged, going back and forth from an offensive line combination. I'm not putting names down. I'm just putting numbers down. Then I'll come back after practice and just sort of go back and look at the roster and just start jotting things in. So there are some combinations that are starting to show up in a more frequent basis, but it's still a work in progress. Titus Howard, I can definitely say that, yeah, he'll be in the starting lineup. That's the one person I know I can say he'll be in the starting lineup.
Well, how does that affect the quarterback, CJ Stroud? Because he doesn't know right now who his guys are. How does that affect you?
CJ seems to be he's not giving no outward signs of being like he's worried about it. Because like I say, excuse me, he's still trying to blend with the wide receivers. We got the two, they drafted the 2 wide receivers from Iowa State, and you got Higgins and Knowles, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Knowles. You got him. You got Nico Collins. We got issues at the running back position because Mixon has not been on the field yet. So there's the Texans. There are some questions still out there to be decided. So more likely Nick Chubb at the start of the season gonna be carrying the mail. Will be carrying the mail for the Houston Texans, and hopefully today we'll see as this ball game today. I think I'm gonna be looking more to, and I've been as the first game they had. I'll be looking more tuned at the offensive line because I've been spending a lot of my time in practice. I've been just watching the offensive line and just trying to understand and look and see how the nuances of, because unlike a defensive line, George, it's a coordination, it's a choreography between 5 guys up front that has to work, because if it don't work, it'll be like the Kansas City Chiefs getting their butts kicked again in the Super Bowl by the Philadelphia Eagles, man. You know, you got a guard out there at tackle trying to protect your franchise quarterback. So it's a work in progress, and we'll just have to see as the season develops and starting at this game to develop this afternoon at 12 o'clock against the Carolina Panthers to see how they're going to work out.
Excellent. Yeah, as we go, and we had someone there, a gentleman checked in. Justin Fields will win the MVP this season. Wow, that's a heavy load right there. You got a lot of work to do, Justin Fields there.
Okay. Hey, man, hope springs eternal, George.
Right. It's preseason. It's
preseason.
Hey, we respect your pick. We're going to check it out toward the end of the year. Please check back in with us to see how well Justin Fields will do this season. I think he will be an upgrade to that team. Aaron, the coach, is definitely trying to get that team back together again and put the Jets back on the forefront of moving forward instead of backwards. JD, definitely AD. When we hear that music, stay on with us. But we got BacSpin coming in. BacSpin, what's going on with Micah Parsons, man? Hey, trade him to the Bills. I got 3 or 4 guys. Dawson, we'll trade 5, 6 guys for Micah Parsons for the Buffalo Bills, man. What's going on?
I don't want y'all no more. I wanted Cook. You know what I mean? If we could have got Cook in a trade with Micah, I would have been all for it. But now that y'all done paid that man his money, you know, now we have to pay him or tag him. And he's not happy. He won't be happy, but Jerry Jones is Jerry Jones. He's going to do what Jerry Jones wants to do. And, this is par for the course in Jerry's world.
It seems like it. It seems like he's more for the entertainment value than he is of. Yeah, because he even said it this week.
Yeah, I was just about to say, he said it himself. You know, it's bigger than the players. Like, this is what Nino Brown say. This is bigger than Nino Brown. That's how Jerry is. This is bigger than any player. This organization is the most profited NFL team, and he don't give a damn about winning. He cares about the money, and it shows.
Yeah, and the other guy in Cincinnati, about the same age as Jerry Jones, he just cares about keeping that system.
Talking about Mike Brown.
Yeah, Mike Brown. How tight can he be?
Well, I mean, think about the polar opposites. Jerry Jones has created the most prolific from a financial standpoint, a most prolific professional team from Forbes standpoint, as opposed to probably one of the cheapest run teams in Mike Brown as far as the Cincinnati Bengals. But he did pay his receivers. He paid all his guys. So in that sense, but the thing about it, his number one, the number one sack leader for the last couple of years, he's still sitting on the bench. So I guess he think he gonna outscore everybody and not worry about trying to stop anybody. I don't know.
That's good for fantasy football, right, BacSpin?
I'm looking forward to it. I love my fantasy football. I got a few drafts coming up this week, next week, and the week thereafter. So I've been doing crazy mock drafts. One league, I'm in the 8th position. So, I got a little finessing to do in that league when it comes to the draft. But I love this time of year. I love football, and I'm looking forward to the upcoming season.
Excellent. So are we. We look forward to it. And remember to continue to be a good sport. And also we dedicate the show to R. Carlos Calabalda that passed away. Yes, we can, from Central Trust Bank. Did a lot in the community for the people. Alum of Canisius College. I've had a lot of interactions with Carlos Calabalda. The man was the real deal. He was the real deal in the banking industry. And he also was the mayor for the short time here in the city of Rochester. R. Carlos Calabalda. You and your family go out to Cindy Firestone and the rest of your family with your thoughts and prayers go out on the passing of R. Carlos Calabalda, another person that made Rochester, New York, a much better place to live.
No doubt. And we're going to leave it right there. Radman, appreciate you. Real Deal Sports Show every Saturday morning right here on the Beat 105.5, 8 a.m. Followed by yours truly. We're going to get back in time with the Back in Time Mix Show right here on the Beat. Keep it locked.